people like Susan and Bennett and the entire Justice team, people who have been doing this work for so long, is just an incredible, incredible honor. I want to start out, though, by acknowledging two people that some of you know, but not everyone does. Two people who, for me, really embody the spirit of the open communities. And that's my in-laws, Lynn and John Benson, who are sitting there in the back. But for over 40 years, they have lived the values of open communities, intentionally choosing mixed-race neighborhoods, despite the not-so-subtle warnings from friends and family of the dire consequences that would ensue. Loss of property values, crime, interracial marriage. Okay, I guess they were right about that one. But what Lynn and John have always known is that if you believe Black Lives Matter, you have to live that way. Last December, a lot of us were being told that Black and brown lives, especially Muslim and refugee lives, did not matter. We heard a lot about walls and deportations and people who didn't belong here. It had gotten so bad that my friend and Rabbi Brent Rosen said he felt as though we were living in Weimar Germany just before the Nazi takeover. So, a bunch of us decided to stand up for our values. I started calling people, a lot of people in this room, the YWCA, and Jewish Voice for Peace, and Interfaith Action, clergy from Second Baptist Church in Beth Emmet and JRC, and the Unitarians, and Lake Street Church, and Darus Sanah, and of course, open communities. Before I knew it, we had a movement, hundreds of people gathering in downtown Evanston on a cold December night, and later in March for a citywide canvassing project to affirm that yes, Muslim lives matter. It was an inspiring moment, but that was the easy part. Anyone can give up an evening to hold signs and to cheer on speakers that you agree with. What's hard is living your everyday life as though others have as much right to safety and security and economic largesse as you do. And that's what the people that you've heard honored today are doing. Susan with her incredible work at Kurt's Cafe, all of the Justice Committee people who have been doing this for so long in our community. What's hard is resisting those forces that made the rally and canvass necessary. There are a lot of sincere religious people who are condemning Islamophobia, who point out the similarities between the Quran and the Torah and the Christian Bible, who encourage non-Muslims to learn more about the faith and the people who follow it. But it's important to realize Islamophobia is not really about theology. After all, the first person who was killed in the revenge attacks after 9/11 was not a Muslim, but a Sikh. The 481 documented hate crime victims in 2001 after 9/11 were not just Muslims, but Sikhs, Christians, Hindus, and Buddhists, all of whom looked as though they might be Muslim. And though hate crimes have been trending down since, those against Muslims and people perceived to be Muslim have been skyrocketing, especially during this election season. Islamophobia is also not about protecting women. This fall we've seen women in hijab demeaned and threatened, often by the same people who celebrate an anti-Muslim politician who demeans and threatens his female critics. Let's face it, Islamophobia is a form of racism. And while I'm all for interfaith book discussions and playgroups, racism is never eradicated merely by conversation. Racism is institutional, and there are institutions that profit from Islamophobia, that need Islamophobia to keep going. When I was a kid in the 70s, our Muslim bogeyman was not the fanatical Islamic terrorist, but the greedy OPEC oil merchant. Islamophobia in the service of economics and politics. I think it behooves us to look at our current economic and foreign policies, our wars on terror, and ISIS, and Syria, and Iraq, and Afghanistan, and Palestine, and ask, are these wars creating Islamophobia, or is Islamophobia created to justify these wars? As you know, I'm a librarian, and my job is to give people the resources they need to make sense of our world. So look at your library collection. See how many books about Muslims are actually written by Muslims. How many library programs feature Muslim speakers and present a range of Muslim views, including unpopular political views? If all you hear promoted by your library or your school or your church or synagogue are the views of good Muslims who are on our side, then you and they have bought into institutional Islamophobia. And shame on any library, or church, or synagogue, or university that allows that to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that racism did not end when we elected Barack Hussein Obama. And Islamophobia is not going to disappear because of one rally. Like racism, it will only end when we find the courage to confront our complicity in keeping it alive. And so I say shukran to my Arabic-speaking brothers and sisters, and salam alaikum, and keep fighting your complicity in Islamophobia. Thank you so much.